Warning! This video contains rumors, speculation, strong opinions, and a Mad Max. And I'm mad about Obi Wan. And there's a lot to discuss in this episode because they keep changing their minds. False starts and farts. If you remember my last Obi Wan video where I scooped Collider. I'm going to start saying Collider exclusive in all my videos because it's all a joke. Along with Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy, and their announcements. Everything, Star Wars is one big joke right now. And this just proves it. You want to know how disorganized Lucasfilm is? They announce that they haven't canceled movies that they haven't announced yet. That's where they were most definitely supposed to be announced. Obi Wan was supposed to be announced back in 2017 at Celebration. And then the end of that summer. And Boba Fett was definitely a thing because all the articles came out at once right when Solo debuted. That was a plan. And then Lucasfilm got cold feet to announce it officially. But don't fear, Obi-Wan fans. This ABC News article just came out, and it's titled, Multiple Films Still in the Star Wars Pipeline. Sources say. Are we done with sources? You see how lame sources could be? Collider had sources. ABC has sources. And no one could get it right. They're flip-flopping. This is worse than the DC movie universe. They're announcing that they haven't canceled films they haven't announced. That is really lame. Sources and reports. You see now why I tell you rumors right up front. Not I know a guy, but I do know a guy, me. I've been speculating the heck out of Lucasfilm and pretty accurate so far. So, what I told you on my video where I scooped Collider, that the Star Wars story standalones were on hold, they are. And ABC and Collider aren't necessarily either wrong. Because I think they are on hold because they're delayed. Not canceled completely. They're just being delayed. And I'll get to that. And here, Kathy continues on her record of false starts and farts instead of delivering. She never delivers. This ABC article shows that they are reluctant to outright cancel the standalones. And that is because, I've said this multiple times now, you cannot have simultaneous trilogies. It would confuse the general public and would kill your brand. Rian Johnson, David Benioff, and D.B. Weiss alternating. That would be so confusing, no one would follow through, even fans that knew what was going on. Do you want to go see Rian Johnson's episode 2 when David Benioff and D.B. Weiss just came out the year before? It would be a mess. They need standalones, and that's why I hold out a lot of hope for Obi-Wan, because they had a lot done already for it. They need Star Wars stories if they're going to be releasing yearly Star Wars movies. So they can alternate between a saga and a Star Wars story for less confusion with the general public. Otherwise, they'd have to wait a year between releases so they can do episode 1 and then episode 2 of that single saga, not alternating. If they want to do it without standalones, they're going to have to wait a year between. And you know, Disney doesn't want to wait a year between. They wanted to do 2 a year. And now they're back to 1 because they failed. And the money train wants Star Wars every year. And they're going to try to get back to 2 a year. But they're going to have to replace Kathy to do it. They absolutely need the Star Wars story films to be a thing. So fear not, Obi-Wan fans. It is the worst kept secret that a lot of work was done already and that they were going to start a few times. This is a few times that it got a false start and Kathy failed. It makes the most sense. It's the least risky of the standalones. because the recasting was already done. It will happen. Ryan, on the other hand, I think Obi took his spot as the December 2020 release date. And he and Rian Johnson fans have a lot to fear, not Obi-Wan fans. Obi-Wan makes sense, Ryan does not. Too much risk. This also makes sense because if Lucasfilm theatrical film division is struggling after a $100 million loss, their production budget for Obi-Wan or the standalone that was going to get started would be greatly affected by that. And their production budget probably has been reduced for the year or cut in half. This way, by delaying it, it moves to 2019 production schedule and reduces Lucasfilm's cost yearly until they get back on track. They were doing 2 films a year in production. Now it's just 1. And who's to say they won't use some of that Star Wars Celebration dough from customers to fund the next standalone and start production afterward. It only makes sense to get that film on track after Celebration and use the funds from Celebration to fund it. Because another reason there was a cut in the budget for production besides the loss, I think the licensing agreements were expiring and they were negotiating. They are expiring. And what licensing partner wants to re-sign for the same cost when all those Tico toys are rotting on shelves? None of them. Those licensing agreements help with the cost of production, defer the cost. But more on that in a separate video that I'm preparing. All those Disney fanboys that think I'm wrong, just imagine if Kathy and Ryan were still employed, which they're not. Well, Kathy, they're waiting until production of Episode 9 gets well underway so they can give her storybook ending and say she produced the highest grossing movie trilogy of all time. That's the storybook ending they're going to give her. But the other reason they're delaying it is to distance those other productions from her. And Kathy also needs to go for that reason too. Obi-Wan was staring her in the face all this time, and she couldn't get it done right. And you know what? This was a Mad Max exclusive video, because those exclusive videos are legit, right, Collider? And I'm sorry about my dog barking in the background. I'm ready to go away for the weekend, and I cannot keep restarting. She is excited to go away to the lake and go fishing. So that's why she's going crazy in the background. I can't redo this video. So I also wanted to tell you that because I normally love replying to comments, and I can't wait to read your comments on this one, but it will be a while before I get to them. I will get to them, though, because I value each and every comment. I love talking with you Star Wars and movie fans, and I want to know what you think about this. Do you think there is hope for Obi-Wan? Do you agree with me? I really believe that we're going to get Obi-Wan, but it's going to start production next year. It just makes sense. That loss in money directly affected the production. They were probably ready to go, waiting for that opening weekend numbers to come in, and boy, did it bomb. Bombed worse than anyone expected. And I want us to give each other more credit. The boycott works. And we need to stick together and go hard if they don't course correct and get on the right track. Oh boy. I do have 2 dogs. Now they're going at it. So this is where I really should end. And here's some other pictures from my previous video. I put this together pretty quick because I wanted to get it right before I left. You don't have to follow me anywhere. All I want from you is to just join in the conversation and talk about a hot topic. They're messing me up. See you guys.